Well, how have the cops been since like Christmas?
I don't want to be too
I want you to be
wording,
entirely transparent, like just like be as honest as you can, because I need to know this.
Okay, they've been on dick, and when we're around, right, like this is our time. No matter how egregious their actions get, there's no reason for us to go out there and slaughter 3 cops on duty to get a message across, right? That accomplishes nothing. But then later on, we'll go and do anything under the sun, whether it be shoot another gang, a bank truck or whatever, and there will be 40 police officers.
I know. Thank you for the gifted sub, man.
Some of these cops are listen, I like Albert King as example. Albert King is a great guy. When he's on duty, we'll be in a boost. I have there was a time where I joined the chase. I did a U-turn in front of him. I didn't touch him. I wasn't at high speeds. Like he was at a stop and I U-turned in front of him. And he said, if you do that again, I'm going to shoot you. And it's just those comments again and again and again. I'm going to get shot. You will be pit. We were in a chase yesterday where McNulty in his little slipper interceptor was doing 180 mile per hour pits again and again on like a local car, just non-stop. And it wasn't as if it was a 2-hour chase and we were shooting cops. No, it was just, 5-10 minutes in. I kind of feel like we get into a lot of police shootouts often and we face the wrath of the horde. And then, around these times, there's no way that we can, respond in a show of force like in the olden days. So I've been told. People have told me back in the day there was like this give and take, whereas now it's just only take. Like, if there was 20 cops around now, we could probably, have a little bit of backbone. And, I remember vividly months and months ago where the police did something to us before I was in the gang and we got into a shootout. We negotiated to get our boys back for their police. And then after that, Nakota spoke with Forehead and Future and we came to it, we discussed what that all started for. I haven't seen anything like that in months. It's just we get fucked on, we go to prison, and then we get fucked on around these times, and we just, get mad about it and move on.
Okay. Can I ask, like when you say like 180 miles an hour, like, is that like accurate? Are you kind of embellishing it a little bit?
All right. Like I'm talking like where we're on Palomino Freeway. We went out through the canals on Palomino Freeway, up driving towards the Palomino Ammunition. Car had been accelerating for like 30 seconds on a straight, and he was attempting to pit maneuver. A car also accelerating for 30 seconds straight. So, I can't speak for what the speedometer was saying, but I'm talking highway blasting pits. Every turn that this car was taking, he was getting like...
Was there like swaps? Like, was it a violent crime? Like, what was... It
was a violent crime. We got into a shootout in Cyprus after our car sale. We took out all of the Cyprus people there, and then we all left. I would say we'd probably swapped maybe... I'm trying to think. In total, there was probably like 2 people getting out and into a vehicle by that point. Like we had exchanged cars a couple times. But the thing is, the car that these guys are in was dog shit. It was one of the cars from the lot. It was like an unupgraded A-class that couldn't go over like 140 miles. And immediately, as soon as they got on, they start treating it like that. It's just a thing I find with this type of discussion is it's hard to pinpoint what's too far and what's too little. When,
of course, yeah.
Because the thing is, from our perspective, there's never any punishment like that we find out about. You know what I mean?
Anonymous,
like, all these
thank you for the anonymous.
I can't be the arbiter of what was justified.
It's interesting you say that because that is the very thing that I decided I wanted to do this term, and that's not just like.
I've seen your buns talking to Nino.
There needs to be conversation back. Like it is invaluable. When a cop gets someone that shot them or murdered someone or whatever, right? They themselves are the only ones that see the redemption, right? Not even the victim likely knows what has occurred, right? They're probably, doing whatever, like, they get stabbed up, shot up, right? They don't even hear, unless they know to look in the papers, did the guy get convicted? This and that happened. If a cop gets shot up, they'll get out of the hospital and they'll see you in the cells or whatever. But cop does something egregious to you, or there's some bad pattern happening, there's no recognition that there is a change occurring, that there was accountability being upheld. So as far as the public is concerned, it's just you're gonna expect the same tomorrow, right? Something really bad happens, why would you not expect it to happen again tomorrow?
Hold on, let me say this 2 seconds.
Yeah.
What's up, Ming? I can't because I lost all my stars from the prison shit. Yeah. I think someone can. I don't know. I'm just in a meeting real quick.
Yeah. Okay.
Bye-bye. Listen, if you want my honest opinion, and as someone whose opinion means nothing.
No, it does mean something. That's what I'm talking to.
Like, I think that it would be really cool if there could be accountability in the force, so that instead of us having to have some weird summit meeting with the police as gangsters and tell them what they're doing wrong, maybe like an outside third party,
like the mayor,
like the marshals, something that was set up to reprimand and look into the PD, could potentially publish or speak about hey, the police have been doing this, or they've been using their batons excessively, or there's been multiple shootings where it's like unsure if it was justified. Blah blah blah. That would be lovely.
I'll tell you exactly what we're cooking, and I'd like to hear your feedback, because this goes twofold, right? It goes the attempt is to there's going to be a survey for both civilians and law enforcement, first and foremost, right? And that's to get opinion, because I'm still technically selectively talking to some cops, selectively talking to some non-cops, right? Like, where's the real picture? The survey is going to help with that. But secondly, we're looking to embolden lawyers so that when something bad happens, I want to take the pressure off of civilians for having to find a lawyer, pay the lawyer, go through all the hoops. I'm going to be paying lawyers to actively be seeking problems and bringing it to court, right? On behalf of others. Number 3, I'm looking to establish mandatory hearings. If something like I'm sure you heard what happened to Ming the other day, or maybe what happened to Hades over the weekend.
I heard about the Ming thing, yeah.
Let's say something like that, if it was egregious enough, where it's patterned enough, there would be a required if you're operating in San Andreas, in Los Santos County, you're on that scene, you are subject to being summoned to this. And you would have to answer questions to a panel hearable to everybody. And that includes, is the PD looking into it? Do you believe a suspension is required? Was it issued? So shit like that, I think, can quickly resolve things, because this isn't going to be some DOJ shit where you schedule 1 month out. It's going to be like you have 3 days to bring 2 or 3 of law enforcement up and answer questions. Otherwise, it's going to be like $500,000 to $1 million fine. Like,
I like that. I just want to say the one thing that I feel like is like a lot of people, we've spoken about this before, like you can't legislate or make things happen that make people unhappy in the city. Like you have to swindle them into accepting it, because if it's too egregious and they realize like, oh, this is going to fuck me over, they won't allow it. But
that's the pressure.
So many police officers have been fired and are now rehired. We got Romello, Forte, right? Fired by Carl when he was a marshal. They're cops again. I don't know why these people live out this fantasy in their head, whereas if they lose their badge, that's it, they're done. Like they're done forever. Because that's not how we live.
The problem is that the cops are pussy made is the issue. I've coined a new, I'm not going to tell you what the word is. I don't want other people using it.
I won't. Good.
No, it's a good word. There's a phenomena that has started to occur over the last couple weeks where they know things are bad, and the moment I stop bringing it up, it's already they're crying. Like before I've said anything. It's insane. It's like the most interesting phenomena. You know what? I'm going to tell you, do not use this. All right. I'm not trying to spread this around. I call it pre-crying. It's when like they already know they fucked up. It's like a fucking dog. You know what I mean? When the dog goes and like
It's a defense mechanism.
Yeah, well, I think it's more like a mutt. Like, you know, like they like, let's say they bust up the furniture, right? And you come home and they're sitting there and they're just giving you the puppy ears, like, you know something happened.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like that shit. It's very difficult. It's very difficult to navigate because you have like this pending like ultimatum over your head, right? Like, I could leave right now if this conversation doesn't go my way. Like, I will quit if it doesn't go my way. But it's so like ingrained, it's so fucking difficult. It genuinely is.
It doesn't make sense to me, right? Because if I'm a G6 worker and I'm a felon, I can't work G6. If I'm a gang member and I go in there and fuck over the gang, right? I do something to fuck them over, I'm out. I'm on the street alone with nothing. No one cares about your feelings in our way of life. You know what I mean? Like, if I
it is very manipulative,
$3 million from Big Dog Noodles,
yeah,
and keep it from the gang and hide it, blah blah blah. Like, I'm out, and it doesn't matter what I cry or say or puppy. Like, that's it. So I don't understand why. I will say that I wanted to wash my hands. It's like I wanted to, when I ran for third term, I was like, fuck the cops, let them do whatever the fuck. I don't want anything to do with them. It's like literally dealing with like it's been the worst experience ever. And I just want to work on the court center. And it's almost like as the election came closer, it's almost like they're doing it on purpose. Like, I know they're not, but it feels that way, right? Like, now all of a sudden it has to be my problem again, and it's fucking annoying. Because I do hold myself responsible, right? Because at the end of the day, I have the ability to do something. I'm challenged with finding and navigating a way to resolve it. There are some steps we've taken. I want this conversation to continue, right? So please do check back in with me week, 2 weeks. Obviously, and this is why I'm talking to you, Minx, is because like I know that you are aware that, you know, you do a crime, you're gonna go to jail, right? You shoot, you're gonna get shot, right? So I know I'm not getting some like weird twisted take from you, and no, I get it.
Getting a pulse from the people are important.
I'm willing to compromise with the police. You know, like I went and spent 3 years in prison, and like other than the fact that I think we could have won the case on the docket, whole other issue that we would have to wait, blah blah blah. Fine. You know, the other day we got into a shootout and we opened fired on the gang as they were being chased by the police, and then the police opened fire on us. You know, fine. But those type of things don't grind me the wrong way. It's just this that they say these things and act in this way where it's like, you know, it's not as if they're a gang member, but it's like, okay, no, it is. You know what I mean? Like, they say, like, if you do that again, I'm going to shoot you. And in my head, I just have this compulsion to hop out the car and shoot them in the face. But when there's 5 or 6 officers on duty, what does that accomplish? It just emboldens them more. It makes me look like a fucking loser to them, which then it's just a feedback loop. Like, there's no escape. It's a vicious cycle. Because the thing is, if they ever get really, really antsy, then we get out on the streets, you know, later on today, and we'll get smoked. The whole force will come down on our ass, and they're all going to pack themselves on the back in the, you know, in the locker room and be like, yeah, fuck them. That's what happens. You know what I mean? Like, it just feeds themselves into this mindset where they can do no wrong.
Can I ask, is it that these statements are being made when nothing was done type shit? Like,
on occasion, yeah. I mean, it's that,
is that
and then we get the
like,
stuff
what
like,
if are you like gonna feel that way if like you know, you do go and pit someone at 100 miles an hour?
Oh,
right.
Yeah, like, listen, when I get in a chase, right, I would say in my head, you know, if I'm trying to get the boys out, I got 1 or 2 good pits, you know, 1 or 2 real violent pits, you know, 100-mile-an-hour, you can do 1 or 2, and then they're gonna shoot. But a lot of the time, you'll join in, do nothing other than be present. And they're already on this mindset as if I've committed a heinous crime. Yeah, a couple more minutes. And it's just odd. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, it feels like their defenses are always up to 10. It's not everybody. It's not all cops. It's not every day. But then you get things like, we try to pick up a boy and put him in the car. They say, stop or you will be beat. You know, you try, you let go of him, you run away, and they hunt you down like a fucking sick animal and beat you into the dirt on the floor. And it's like, I don't get that personally. I feel like that's excessive use of force. You know, if I'm standing next to the car with you trying to put you in, you know, grabbing your arm and shoving you in there, and they're hitting me, okay. But if I run away, why are these people sometimes on occasion hunting me down and beating me into the pavement?
There's like it's like the green light is on, and now it's like,
exactly.
Yes.
Like,
Time
listen,
to put on the medical gloves and goggles.
That's the thing. Like, it feels like this switch gets flicked, and all of a sudden it's just open season. You know, like we just get torn to shreds. And hey, you know, if I fight back or I pull my gun or whatever, but it's a lot of the times it just feels like the force is used excessively in a situation where it doesn't. You know, you got your 95 on the floor there. I've given up and left. Why is my skull smashed into the pavement as well? Because that's what happened. That's why we went back. You know, that situation is the reason why we went back for those years. Vidal got beaten down like a fucking animal trying to get me in the car. And it's my fault I was on the floor. It's my fault we were in that shootout. You know, Vidal didn't have to come and save us. We were going back anyway, but he was there and then he went back too. And it's just, I don't know, it just makes you sigh when you think about it in retrospect, because it's like, God damn, man, you know, next time we should just shoot. That's the thought that we always have, or that's the sentiment that I see.
God
like, next
damn
time we
it,
shouldn't
man.
be nice to the cops. Why are we so nice? Why do we not try and escalate in a lot of situations? You know, because we do sometimes. Obviously, I'm not going to pretend like I've never escalated with the PD.
Okay. Let me cook.
I just think if there was a little bit more transparency in things that have happened and what's been done about them, even if it's SOP changes or shit like that, it would be, I think that would help a lot of people's mindset to just read that. You know? The police have got a new SOP where you can't beat down someone if they're running, you know, and obviously that can still get interpreted and sometimes stretched depending on the context. But even seeing something like that, I think would bring people like solace and be like, oh, okay, they know what's going on. That's all.
Okay.
All right.
I appreciate it, Michael.
Anytime, Nino. Have a lovely day.
Yep. You too.